Hey everyone, welcome to another rapid fire review, this time for Team Ninja's Nioh 3. The Nioh franchise is a series of Souls-like games that have really carved out their own place in the hardcore action RPG landscape and have become their own thing. If you're thinking about getting into Nioh 3, you should know that Nioh games are difficult, and they have quite a few mechanics that players will have to master to progress through the game. And beyond the initial campaign, there are even more mechanics to master if you expect to tackle the endgame content. There are incredibly complex combat systems, there's UIs to learn, and dump trucks filled with loot to filter through. So the devs had to make sure that Nioh 3 was approachable to new players, while also taking into consideration that the series' most passionate fans have amassed hundreds, if not thousands of hours of playtime in Nioh 2. So while the sequel is hotly anticipated, it also came with lofty expectations. Unfortunately for all of us, I think they did an amazing job at delivering an experience that will really please both newcomers as well as most of the grizzled vets. Now, I won't pretend that the new player experience is super easy. There's still so much to learn and so much dying because these games are again hard. But this is a very approachable game if a new player wants to learn. There may also be mega fans of 2 that will not be pleased that changes to the formula have been made. But I do think that for the majority of people, they are going to love Nioh 3 as much as I did. The game starts with an insanely detailed character creator. You have the opportunity to customize both a samurai character and a ninja character if you want to choose a different model and face for each. There are a ton of options here, as well as a character code input option so you can see what horrors other players have unleashed upon their world and copy them if you wish. The first hour or 2 of the game serves as a bit of a linear tutorial for combat and other game mechanics. I got to sit with AJ and OJ, who normally don't play a lot of these games, and they were able to get up to speed and even beat the first major boss without too much difficulty. So they can do it, so can you. From there, the world and map opens up a bit. It's not quite fully open world just yet. The devs really push players to learn more of the complex systems before kicking them into the deep end of the pool. On the map, you'll find the world is filled with enemy camps, mini-bosses, quests, and little spirit friends to find that will give you loot or blessings. With all that stuff to find, the map does get a little cluttered. And for me, it reveals just a bit too much. I don't mind them showing me what I found, but they reveal what loot or secret stuff can be found in certain areas, which isn't my preference. Fortunately, like almost everything else in this game, they allow you to change these settings to suit your preferred playstyle. And I could choose what info was shown on the map and when. All of the worlds in Nioh 3 are much, much larger than I expected them to be here, and there are actually more of them. It took me about 55 hours to finish the campaign. That's including all of the quests and side content and secret bosses. But that's just the start. For those looking for more, once you finish the game, there's an option, of course, to start a New Game Plus, and then a ton of new quests and encounters become available to you. I love that once you start New Game Plus, the difficulty increases. But you can freely change that difficulty back to the base level, and it reopens all of the eras and maps from your first playthrough and lets you go back to farm specific gear, or seek out something that you may have missed. Stuff like this makes me feel like my time is respected, and I love that. Nioh 3 has 14 different weapon types, split between samurai and ninja styles that you can freely switch between. Even mid-combo if you want to get fancy. There's something here for everybody. Super fast weapons with long fluid combos, slow, hard-hitting weapons that may not be as graceful and sophisticated, but who needs all that when you just need to bludgeon something to death? Hell, if you want, you can do both. Start your combo with a dozen fast strikes, and as a finisher, instantly swap over to a giant hammer and smush whatever needs smushing. Each weapon type has a branching skill tree. You're going to unlock points naturally as you progress the story, but a ton can be found through exploration. The game is insanely generous with these skill points, and you will easily be able to finish most of the trees in the game at the same time with the sheer glut of points given out. These skill trees unlock special attacks, combo lengtheners, or defensive abilities that can wildly change how a weapon works in combat. All of these skills can also be changed on the fly, so again, you have freedom to test things out and see what works for you. Some of these skills require certain quests to be finished to unlock, or others need to be found in the world or have certain bosses killed, but they weren't as rare as I thought they were going to be. Here, you aren't forced to commit to any one weapon type or playstyle either. If a weapon doesn't fit the type of combat you want to pursue, just switch. Respecking the skill trees can be done at will and with no resource cost. The same goes for attribute points. The game's really just a long series of combat puzzles, and you have more than enough pieces to solve every single one of them. You can absolutely brute force your own way through if you want to, or you can make a custom solution for each one you come across. You have the choice. The 2 distinct classes in the game provide even more freedom to play as you like. The Samurai provides the more traditional play experience, tons of versatility in armor types, weapon speeds, and of course the ability to swap between stances to use different movesets and combos to give you the edge and land hits. And the ninja style is fast. It's mobile and it's fast. The utility it provides with ninjutsu skills is just incredible. Switching between both can be done with the press of a single button, doubling the options a player has in any given situation. And almost right from the start, you'll have all of the weapon options available to you. If you're unfamiliar with the loot system in Nioh, it's quite different from the Soul series, where the weapons are more rare or unique or tied to certain bosses. For Nioh, it's actually closer to like Borderlands or Diablo, where enemies just burst into giant piles of loot. It's mostly crap. It's going to be consumables you never think of using, or literal crap. But there's also a ton of weapons and armor. Some of these will have nice passives or are part of sets with unique benefits, but they're also common that you'll have like a half a dozen or more of the same type of armor at the end of each section. It can look daunting and you won't constantly have to be doing it, but at least a few times during your playthrough, you're going to have to empty out your bag and either sell or disassemble the loot you've amassed. Though once you're familiar with the loot system, there are options to automatically do this for you. So seek those out when you feel you're ready. And also, immediately turn on auto item pickup while you're at it. It just makes the game experience way better. I was able to try a bit of each weapon in the game, but ended up focusing on Samurai with an Odachi for my first playthrough. But don't sleep on the ninja. It is incredibly powerful right from the start. So for new players, if you're looking for a jump start in your journey, maybe grab a set of tonfas and give the ninja a shot. Also, poison and other damage over time is practically a cheat code for the game, so keep that in mind if you find yourself stuck. Release the wasps, throw some poison stuff, and watch your enemies die at a distance. It's kind of fun. There's also other ninjutsu abilities, ranged weapons, and magic, and they all have incredible utility as well. I didn't use a ton of magic in my playthrough, but I can see it becoming quite powerful, especially on a second playthrough. All these utility pieces are like your bag of dirty little tricks, so don't forget to use them when you need them. Remember, these enemies are not messing around, especially with the vast variety of enemies and bosses, both human and yokai. They can and will perform insanely long combos, even the little guys. They'll hit you with bullshit grabs that can't be blocked. They'll make the screen explode in fire, or sometimes one will just one-hit kill you. The good news is that you as a player also have the ability to do ridiculous things. You just need to use all of the weapons and tools at your disposal. For the bosses, I found their design quality a little inconsistent. A few were memorable, but most were kind of generic big monsters with huge sweeping attacks and huge explosions to kind of cheese damage on the player. As for boss difficulty, I would say that most bosses were easier than average for a Nioh game, the first time around at least, with one or two exceptions to that rule. The Blood Edge Demon, especially at level 150, is no joke. And there's some secret bosses that were fun to try to figure out as well. If you're looking for a harder challenge, you're going to find it in New Game Plus though, so don't worry. Or you can be a masochist and play naked and do fists only, and they even included some supporting skills and stuff for it. The story of the game is, it's there. There definitely is one. We are the good guy, and then there are bad guys, and we must defeat them, sometimes with help, sometimes alone. There's some timey-wimey stuff in between, and then the game's over. It's not exceptionally compelling. It's often eye-roll inducing, especially when we let like super evil characters go instead of killing them, like the thousands of other bad guys we've just previously killed. And then like they're obviously going to do the bad stuff again, and then we're like surprised that they do it again. But that's what we get, alright? It's not great, but I didn't expect anything from it. It's not why I play these games. I personally probably would have skipped the cutscenes if I wasn't doing the review, so I watched. For performance, I got a PS5 review copy, and it ran pretty well in performance mode on my base PS5. The graphics look okay in this mode, with mostly stable frames. I only got the occasional dip in FPS, but I had a review copy without the day one patch, so hopefully you have a different experience. The other review copy we had was for PC, and it ran surprisingly well on Joe's computer, after some adjusting of settings, which it hasn't always been the case for their games, so I think that's a big improvement. In the end, Nioh 3 was just simply a joy to play. There's the incredible freedom of customization in almost every aspect of the game. I loved the fluidity of the combat, how easy it was to change builds and styles, and the open world turned out to be just interesting enough to explore fully and served as a nice place to get lost in between boss fights. The game has a ton of content for the money, and with the variety of builds and post-campaign quests and encounters, there's even plenty of reason to try a New Game Plus run. So I'm going to give Nioh 3 a 9 out of 10. It's a worthy entry in a storied series, and just a great action RPG in general. It's different than Nioh 2, but I think it's just as good in a different way. Thanks so much for watching this rapid fire review. I'll see you next time on the next Angry Joe Show.